Searle, thanks for doing the podcast.
No worries, Aaron. How you going?
Good. We're really going for it with this new tech.
Thai tech.
Thai tech.
We're in the future.
We're
Streaming, YouTube, TikTok, the whole lot.
all that. All right. So, well, we've done obviously many of these together in the past. First time talking about a record though. Dude Ranch by Blink-182.
Yeah, it was like one of my favorite albums growing up.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess I think it was definitely like the album that like introduced me to punk stuff, and it kind of came along at just the right time.
Yeah.
And I think like since it came out, have read that, you know, Australia was like one of the places that they were big outside of, like they were almost big here before they were big.
Well, that was like
in the States. Yeah.
Like all good podcast research, I conduct all of it on Wikipedia.
Yeah. You went on blinkfans.forums, just lurking in the archives.
Yeah. But it like the note on this, again, according to Wikipedia, following moderate sales of Cheshire Cat and growing popularity in Australia, they got signed to a major label. Like, I mean, first part of that I like as well, following moderate sales.
Well, I don't know if you ever listened to Cheshire Cat, but it's pretty rough.
Yeah.
Like, I think they recorded it in like a day or something like that. So it's very punk.
Yeah.
And this, I think, is... I was listening to this week, obviously preparing for this, and I think it was like a bit rougher than I remember it sounding.
Yeah.
Maybe just because, you know, since that album, they've obviously done... Like, it's just crazy to think, like, I was sort of tossing up whether we do Enema of the State or this. And, like, if you listen to the production value, like, Dude Ranch is, like, still a punk band, still pretty rough, but it's polished. It's, like, studio polished.
Yeah.
And then Enema of the State is, like, next level again.
Yeah.
And then I think Take Off Your Pants and Jacket is, like, it's, like, the epitome of, like, pop punk records.
Yeah.
It's, like... It sounds so slick.
And then that becomes like the blueprint for every band after that.
I think that record, like the bass tone on Take Off Your Pants and Jacket is just like fucking sick. Like it's so good. But obviously that's when the tension started to come in the band.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, it's got to sound like this. And they're obviously like a fucking huge band then.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I think the other thing too, so again, like this record for how sort of raw it sounds comparatively to like all the things that come after it. This is now a platinum selling record.
Oh yeah,
like,
big time.
At the time, obviously it wasn't, but like because of everything else, it's just, you know, grown and grown and grown. I mean, but I think like just reading through, thinking about the band, like my connection to them, I think probably came from, you know, hearing the songs from Enema of the State. Like, I assume most people of, you know, that came from metal versus, you know, coming from punk or whatever. My introduction to them was through TV and, you know, and the radio.
And I actually only realized that recently.
Yeah.
Because I assumed people kind of knew Dude Ranch just as much as they knew Enema of the State.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about this on the way here because... I'm sort of jumping into the middle of the album here, but there's a song called Waggy on there, which I fucking love. It's like a great song.
That's the note. I think that's the best song on the record.
Yeah, it's a great song.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, a friend was having a birthday party at the Rev. Beck, can't remember her last name right now. It'll come to me after this. Apologies if you're watching this. And it was like she put a call out, like people who wants to do like live band, we're doing karaoke.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, Waggy.
Yeah.
And two things I realized. I didn't know the lyrics as well as I thought. And not many people know those B-sides to that album.
Yeah.
Because obviously the hits off this album are Damn It and Josie. Those were like... that's how I discovered the band. Those songs got played on Recovery and Rage and things like that. And yeah, but the rest of the album I don't think is as well known as I thought it was. Yeah.
And like but I mean, yeah, that was the note I made. It was just like, again, because I've heard this record obviously before, and I've heard, like as you said, like I think I got introduced to them through the Enema of the State songs, but then I went to high school like everyone else, so I heard everyone playing "Damn It" on Yamaha C40 acoustic guitars, and like, but I guess I didn't really click on to the other songs from the record, and I heard Josie as well, obviously. But yeah, like listening through to it, like I mean, I just thought like the Waggy, the vocal harmony is just as good as any of the other choruses.
Oh, big time.
Like the guitar harmony on it's just as catchy as any of the other songs on it. Like,
well, the one thing I was wondering about, I was like, oh, I wonder if because it was Josie and Damn It, and I don't know if there was a third single off this album.
I think it said that there was, but like it didn't go. Like,
because
they released a single, but like no one cared.
I thought maybe Waggy might have been it, because I could see that working, because it's like, it's like, fun, and then we're a bit serious.
Yeah. Well, I mean that was like, I didn't realize. I mean, I know this obviously, being that I know the band, but like the band was being taken like so. It's a funny way to word it, but like seriously being taken as only a joke band. Like that's what the major label considered them kind of like a joke band. It was funny. That's why people liked it. But the band themselves like didn't agree with that. Like they were like, no, this is serious. But then like another note on Wikipedia for it was, that the label basically let them do whatever they want. The only time they stepped in was to stop them from recording a spoof of the Macarena. Like that was, and I was just thinking like, imagine being like in your 20s and being like, we're serious. We're going to do this serious, but.
And like there's skits on this album as well.
Yeah.
Which I guess like later on, Blink still did skits in their albums.
Yeah.
Like I think off that Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, like that was a like real serious album.
Yeah.
But there is still that song, I Want to Fuck a Dog in the Ass on it.
Yeah.
Like.
And they released a live album that's essentially like just fucking around, right?
Oh, yeah, big time. Yeah. It's like a lot of it is just skits, them talking shit between songs.
Yeah.
Which I guess is, that's why people like Blink-182.
Yeah.
As well. Like they took the band seriously. They wrote good songs, but they also were those kind of fuck around guys, those Cali kind of guys. Because, I remember watching a little follow along with Tom DeLonge.
Yeah.
Obviously talking a lot about aliens, all that kind of stuff, but just driving through those old Californian suburbs, and those guys were just so a part of that. And I guess that's why it translated so well to Australia. It's like, surf culture. It was very similar to what was happening in Australia at the time.
Well, and I think that was like the biggest thing on there was like, with saying like that, the growing popularity here was like fueled by them being funny live, which again is something that like, I mean, that was like when I Exist hit its stride, was like, that's when we realized like, oh, our band is better when our band is a joke.
Yeah.
Like our band is people like our band better when like they're laughing at us than taking like the stoner song seriously or whatever.
Well, it's I wonder if like I definitely remember I saw them at Festival Hall, and that was like a big part of the show as well. It was just like, I'm seeing these guys being funny in real life as well. Songs are great. It's awesome. Yeah. Like it's like the experience that you wanted after watching like clips of them live on TV shows and stuff like that as well. It's like, that's what people go for, I guess, but maybe not so much now.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and like I think as well, maybe, I think this is where how they perceive themselves or how they want themselves perceived. Maybe that's what comes into like Tom DeLonge. I guess the big thing, the fact that he, and again, like I'm not a Blink aficionado, so maybe I understand this incorrectly, but I mean, as far as I understand, he's essentially not doing the band because he wanted to like pursue research into aliens.
And I think as well, he wanted to be that serious guy.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you was such a fuck around dude. Like, you know, it's such, I guess he kind of wanted to be Bono or be that U2 like big stadium rock sound. Like you listen to that Angels and Airwaves, which they did afterwards, and it's like, this is someone who takes themselves real seriously.
Yeah, who went from, you know, trying to do a spoof of the Macarena.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you got to do what you got to do, I suppose. I mean, I think the other thing too, like another song and like